Hey folks, good to see you again here for another Move Mob session. 16.1 is almost in the books, still got another day, but from the word on the street is not too many people are retesting this unless something went pretty wrong or there's something left on the table. It's not one that I think a lot of people should, but that's up to you. You got to know yourself and realize whether you're going to do that or not for what particular purpose and goal. For us today, we're going to talk a little bit more about recovery. If we know anything about CrossFit and Dave Castro, it's going to be balanced. It's going to be unexpected, but there's going to be things that we can expect to see, which I think will be a heavier type weight. Whether that's for a single rep or for a lot of reps throughout another metcon, heavy metcon couplet or triplet or chipper. But we have to be ready for that. So number one, through the hips, which is where most people have been bogged up. If you are sore through the shoulders, you got some underlying issues with thoracic extension that cause that. But if you were pretty much plowing through this and hitting it hard, the only thing that should really be bothering you is maybe some bicep soreness from the chest to bars, but realistically that overhead walking lunge, your glutes, a little bit of your quads, and the anterior superior chest stomach that we talked about the other day. So we're going to mash through that as well as then go into kind of the lower leg to see, hey, if we got to hit squats, which there really wasn't a squat in that workout, and if we're not squatting, it's almost like we're not doing CrossFit. So that's going to be coming up. We want to identify some things that we might want to open up to ensure we're ready for 16.2. So first off, we'll come over here. We're going to grab our helix. This could be a lacrosse ball, this could be a roller, it doesn't really matter, but this is a great tool that I love from Rad Roller. What we're going to do is I'm actually going to put the stick, use a lot of this as far as generating blood flow throughout the day, but we'll talk about this helix. What I'm going to do is get right on this gluteus tissue, luteus, and just kind of start to mash through. It doesn't have to be too intense. I did another light workout today with some squat cleans every minute on the minute for about 20 minutes, just working more on technique to drive blood flow there, but I'm still pretty jumped up through this back part of the hip. So I just kind of take my time working through there. If I want to go on my side, roll through like this, more on the lateral structures. Also when I lay down or if I find juicy spots, being able to just camp out, deep breath and sink in, that's always a good decision. As far as getting into that tissue, making sure we're driving blood flow, restoring compliance, and increasing our healing efficiency. Because if we're going to have to hit heavy squat, we're going to make sure that there's nothing residual from 16.1 leaving us vulnerable. So it's an easy way to do it at the beginning. If I want to increase this intensity, oh buddy, I can just work this up, drive my chest forward, head back, think of a squat position, a very realistic position, and I can start mashing through there. If I want to get a little bit more towards the butt or the central crease, so to speak, is I can sit up a little bit more like so and roll on top of it. I can drop this other hand back, always thinking, send my chest forward and drive my hip into the back part of the capsule to really get things rolling there. So spend a lot of time on both sides working through that. To be able to go through the stomach, we'll just go and turn around, go right on top of this. And what we can do is just squeeze glutes, drive chest up, but make sure we're not hyperextending through that low back. Find any tissue. If we want to isolate, I can kick one leg out, kind of put this over to a side, to the right side. My left leg's kicked out, and I'm isolating over here on this left. It's a great way to do it. For me, I have enough range of motion where this isn't too uncomfortable. I need something that's a little bit bigger to mash down through that tissue. But if, I'd start here and progress to something bigger. But this is a great way to start opening up the stomach. The last thing that I want you guys to kind of focus on, again, like we said, is getting into a little bit of distraction through the ankle. We know, there's going to be, shoulder to overhead. It might be heavy, might be light for high reps, but I would assume since we had 95 pounds, it's going to be a little bit heavier. So the ability to get in this good dip drive position if we're going overhead, or being able to find this good heel down position, or being able to drop to the bottom part of the squat while maintaining integration through the hip all the way to the foot and to the ground is going to be important. So some of these distractions where we get this right underneath the 2 ankle bones. I can drive forward. I can kind of take my foot off, or my heel off the ground to kind of work through the arch a little bit. If I want to get kind of nasty with that, I'll go hip up, hip down, hip up, hip down, to kind of floss through that tissue. I can just drive down, heel, ball of the foot, feel it kind of shift from the arch to the Achilles. Now it's in the Achilles. Now it's to the arch. These are easy ways to kind of open up for that squat that's probably coming down the pike. Now if I do want to open up through the hip again because it's a little bit junky, I can always get into kind of the squatting runners type situation where I'm driving into this nice squat position, having this distraction here. If I want to get even a little bit more spicy with driving into the tissue, I can drop right into my pigeon. Always thinking keep that chest up and stay realistic with my setup. Kind of work through the different areas, always making sure that I'm opening things up. But those are several ways that you can hit the tissues that were probably junked up and recover from them, but also knowing that something heavy and squatty is coming up, making sure you're not only just hitting those tissues from 16.1, but you're also prepping for 16.2.